Welcome to The Explainer from the Wall Street Club. Today, we're tackling a truly seismic shift in finance. We're talking about how artificial intelligence is going from just a helpful tool to becoming the brand new core engine of Wall Street itself. This is all about how the biggest decisions, and yeah, the biggest money, are now being made. You know, this quote from the legendary investor Ray Dalio, it isn't some far-off prediction. It's basically the headline for what is happening right this second. It perfectly frames what we're talking about today. We are witnessing the dawn of a completely new kind of financial intelligence, and it's being driven by machines. For years, AI was kind of this experiment on the sidelines, right? But with the explosion of generative AI, it's just leaped from the back office straight into the command center. It's not an assistant anymore. AI is fast becoming the strategic heart of how these huge firms manage risk, deploy their capital, and really how they operate day to day. And look, this isn't just some trend for a few tech-savvy firms. We're talking about institutions that together manage around $38 trillion in assets. And of those, almost a third are already putting these new technologies to work. This is way past testing the waters. This is a massive industry-wide commitment. So how is this AI takeover actually unfolding on the ground? Let's kick things off by looking at the incredible power and the promise it holds. A promise of speed, of efficiency, and of insights that were just, frankly, out of reach for humans alone. Just think about this for a second. AI-driven strategies already make up 40% of all hedge fund trading. These are not niche algorithms anymore. No way. They are a dominant force, sifting through all that market chaos to spot patterns and execute trades in literally the blink of an eye. To really see this in action, you don't have to look any further than JP Chase. I mean, they are going all in. They've developed Index GPT to help pick securities, and they're rolling out AI assistants to their entire workforce. But the real story here? The efficiency. One of their systems, Coin, automates 360,000 hours of legal work every year. That is an almost unbelievable advantage. And then you've got Morgan Stanley with another absolutely stunning example, this time on the technical side. Their internal AI just chewed through the firm's old, clunky computer code. The result? Well, in just 5 months, it saved their developers what amounts to nearly 32 years of manual work. I mean, think about that. They're modernizing at a speed that was completely unimaginable just a handful of years ago. But here's the thing. It's not just about doing old tasks faster. It's about doing entirely new things. BlackRock is training specialized AIs to predict how markets will react to things like earnings calls, and they're doing it with way more accuracy than the generic models. And at the same time, Goldman Sachs has this vision for total integration. They expect AI to be a core tool for every single employee in just 3 years. The arms race is definitely on. So, we're talking about automating decisions that control trillions of dollars, all happening at the speed of light. That kind of power, well, it naturally leads to a really critical question. So what's the catch, right? Because when you hand over this much power and automation to algorithms, there have to be huge risks. This technology isn't some magic wand. It's a double-edged sword, for sure. And the core challenge, the one that is definitely keeping regulators and risk managers up at night, is what's called the black box problem. These incredibly powerful AI models, they deliver amazing results. But we can't always understand how they got to their conclusions. Even the highest levels of government are raising the alarm on this. As Treasury Secretary Yellen points out, if you can't actually look under the hood and see the logic behind a decision, how can you ever really trust it? It's a fundamental challenge to accountability, to trust in the whole system. This table really captures that central tension perfectly. On one side, you have these massive opportunities, like huge cost savings and the potential for higher returns. But on the other, you have equally significant challenges, that black box, the risk of bias data, and maybe the most frightening thought, the possibility of all these AIs herding together and maybe triggering a flash crash. Okay, so with stakes this high, where do we possibly go from here? Well, the answer isn't about choosing humans or machines. The future, and the real solution, is all about forging a powerful new partnership that gets the absolute best of both. You know, a common fear is always job loss, and that's a totally valid concern. But history gives us some really useful perspective here. This chart shows that a staggering 60% of the jobs we have today didn't even exist back in 1940. Technology has always displaced some jobs, that's true, but it has consistently created more and often better ones. All the evidence suggests AI will probably be no different. This new partnership creates a whole new kind of workflow. So the AI does all the heavy lifting, analyzing mountains of data at superhuman speed. But it's the humans who steer the ship. They're the ones setting the strategy, the goals, and the ethical guardrails. Then the AI generates insights and options. But that final, context-aware judgment call, that stays firmly in human hands. This quote from an executive at Deutsche Bank just summarizes that new workflow perfectly. It's not about replacement, it is all about enhancement. The whole point of AI here is to augment human intelligence, to make us faster, smarter, and ultimately capable of making much, much higher quality decisions. So, when it comes down to it, we are past the point of even debating this. For Wall Street, adopting AI is no longer a strategic choice. It has become a fundamental question of survival in this new era. In this race, falling behind, it's just not an option. And that brings us to the single most important question facing the entire industry today. The technology is here. The winners of the next decade won't be the firms with the smartest AI, and they won't be the ones with the smartest people. The winners are going to be the ones who figure out how to master this human-machine partnership first. And just a quick reminder for you, this explainer is purely for informational purposes. Investing always comes with risks, so please do your own homework or talk to a professional. Thanks for diving into this with us. Make sure you follow the Wall Street Club for more explainers that break down the complex and fascinating world of finance. We'll see you in the next one.